Let's talk about Oscar. What was your first introduction to Oscar Grant?
I think it was back in 2009 when the incident happened. Facebook, YouTube, seeing the video, and it affected me immediately. You know, I thought it could have easily been me, not really knowing too much about what exactly happened. So in the months, following, finding out more about, the incident, what happened. That was my first impression of Oscar. Or surrounding the incident, and then just kind of honestly moving on from it. It's like, what could I do to really help? Or I was feeling a lot frustrated, upset, angry, and not really having an outlet. I'm not a political activist. But I'm an actor, and in the back of my head, sometimes you think, hopefully one day I'll make a story about this. And then 4 years later, it kind of comes back around, and I'm able to play that role and speak out through my work, and hopefully raise some discussions between people.
Now, the director Ryan, same age, the same race, lives from the same area,
Yep.
So many similarities between him and Oscar. Did any of that ever kind of feel really relevant and come to play when you were on set filming? Do you think that it could have been him?
Ryan?
Yeah.
I think we all felt that way. Between me and Ryan, I think Ryan definitely felt a sense of responsibility for this, from being from that community and telling that story. I think the Bay Area is very, they pride themselves on being socially progressive, and being diverse. So when this kind of incident happened up there, it was just kind of like, whoa, not here. We're not even about that. Like, how could that happen up here? And I think it really hit Ryan too, personally, and really inspired him to write that script. And I think he wrote it right around the time it happened. So it was very current. The script was very in that moment.
It looks like you guys had the best time making this movie. Is that fair to say, or are you guys just really good at acting?
No, that's fair. I mean, both.
I think both, yeah.
But it was a great time shooting this film, especially in New York. With these two guys working with, like Miles usually said, I'm usually the youngest guy on set all the time. So it felt cool to kind of go into this every day, knowing I'm working with somebody that speaks the same language as that I do, and it was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Did you guys know each other ahead of time, or was it surprising how well you got along when you first met for this?
I knew Mike from The Wire, but we had never hung out. We had never hung out. And so
You never returned my calls.
because I was unsure of who you were.
Okay.
But obviously I'd heard of Zach, but you take everything at face value. And I met these guys after they just got done from a ski trip where everybody was bonding and eating elk and just being all
Elk was delicious too.
mountain men. So
Yeah, it was.
I missed that.
You missed that.
I was busy, but they
Working, he was out being a movie star, shooting, 2-night stand,
Small independent film,
But
yeah.
But no, me and Zach have known each other for a couple of years. We got mutual friends in LA, and we've always wanted to work together, but it was never really the right time or the right project, and this kind of came along, and it just seemed to fit. Miles came in a little bit late, but he just slid right in like he usually does.
I'll slide it right in.
Just
They call me Lingers.
Yep, we know.
Congratulations on Creed.
Thank you.
Loved it. You
That's
were
good.
the perfect character. So let's talk about that. Creed is the continuation of the Rocky legacy. So how important was it to pay tribute to that legacy with this film?
I think it was very important. I think, when you have Sly and Rocky in the film, it comes with a certain weight and a certain, expectation and pedigree. And, these are characters that he created, 40 years ago. So stepping into that world is kind of overwhelming, but it's very, humbling as well. And to have Sly with me, it takes all the pressure off of it, because this is the guy who created that world. And if he's giving me the words of encouragement, telling me that you got this, don't worry about competing and living up to anything, this is yours. There's nothing really to be worried about, yeah.
So it's funny because I just talked to Sly and he said nothing but incredible things about you and said that you took Creed to a whole new level and compared to Denzel. I mean, he was, I know, so that's pretty awesome to have him there.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about him. He's an incredible actor. To kind of see him transform into that man to Rocky is night and day, and to watch that is pretty cool to see.
So Miles Teller talked about how both of you guys were training for boxing movies. So was there ever any rivalry between the two of you for who's gonna be a better boxer?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Me and Miles are like, we're really good friends, but we're super competitive too. I call him my Larry Bird. He's Larry Bird to my Jordan. That's how I look at it. But I like messing. Like everything between me and him is like, it's a friendly competition, and I think it pushes us to be better. I think without that, that running mate, it's so much easier to work out with somebody else or to run with somebody else to keep you going. It's kind of what you need to continue to grow, and yeah, it was crazy because I was putting on weight, he was losing weight. So our diets were completely different. I was eating everything, but I was eating often. I wasn't eating everything. I was a very limited diet, but I ate a lot of it. He was eating like, just rabbit food. It was just like
I got the better role here,
seriously. Nah, seriously, but it was a good time.
So who'd win? You, Miles?
Everybody keeps asking that. I think we have to get us like, I'm in better shape right now, for sure. I'm in better shape right now, all right? But I feel like you give us enough time and it's kind of prep and get in the ring. I don't know, man.
It's all friendly. It's all friendly.
Yeah.
You're training for Creed 2. I want to know how different it was from training for Creed 1 and then also Black Panther, the progression.
I wish I had like a profound answer to say they did something completely different, but we didn't. We kind of stuck to the same processes of, living around fighters, living like a fighter, getting up in the morning, doing the road work, putting hours in the gym, eating right, and just doing that consistently for as long as we can before we actually have to start shooting.
Why is this important for you to be here?
I love the youth, man. I love what you guys are doing here, man. Honestly, like kids is like so important. You get them at the right age, you get them when they're young, and you're able to kind of mold them in the right direction. You invest in them, feed their soul with positivity and being a good example, and it'll drastically change, how their mentality, when they grow up. So to kind of be able to, to spread my influence or whatever you want to call it, and show up and say some positive words and try to, direct them in the right direction is extremely important to me. I know it made a big difference to me growing up.
8-minute standing ovation. Now, I'm not even a part of the film, and that meant so much to me because I was like, okay, good. They all felt the way I felt. Yeah. What did those 8 minutes feel like for you guys?
It was an eternity. Yeah, I was like, man, it was overwhelming to me, honestly. The amount of love and energy you feel. I felt like, I was like a singer entertainer on stage for a second. I was like, man, this is what it feels to get like the outpour, immediate affection from something that you've done or been a part of. I felt, I was humble, very humble.
Michael, I feel like he's like my graduating class, He's like, I feel like we graduated together. So there's just a kinship that's very much alive there. And on top of it, right before this film came together, we were both like the two people after Frances McDormand said, inclusion writer, we both immediately were like, yes, I'm in. And so when it was yes, it felt good, and I dropped everything. It's like, sure. I will do whatever I can to be there.
And that felt so good. That's, one of the biggest stars on the planet could do whatever she wants to do. Yeah. And wants to come help support this project, and help, be there for me, and that meant a lot to me,
I'm curious to know what life lesson would you say that you have taken from this film that you will most likely apply to your own life?
I think that it's between love and time. I think tomorrow's not promised, and sometimes we take that for granted, and we take the people that we love and we care about for granted. And, we put it off to tomorrow, we put it off to next week, put it off to next month. But no, you gotta squeeze that person a little bit tighter when you hug them. You gotta let them know that, make sure they understand how much you care about them, because that regret is something real, and looking back and wishing you would have done something different is something that I don't think anybody, wants to deal with. So, time and what you do with it, I think is something that I definitely took away from this, especially coming out of what we were coming out of with the quarantine and the pandemic of that nature.
So true.
It really put what really mattered in perspective. You have to talk to everybody in their own love language, you know, and you have to learn how they need to be spoken to and coached up, and
Not
how
the
do you get the
love
best.
language.
It's so important. You know,
Yeah,
you're dealing
it
with
is,
200 different people on the set, and
Right.
everybody needs something different, and they need answers, you know, and I
Mm-hmm.
need things from them. So you can't speak to everybody the same way. So to be able to kind of like, you know, learn how important it was so we could be on the same page, so we could be making the same movie, I thought was like really crucial.
What does it require to make sure when you think about legacy that you show up and you're raising the bar each and every time out?
Being honest and truthful, you know, and not forcing the issue. You know, I think if it makes sense, if a natural evolution, I like go for it. I think the movie's going to tell you what it needs to be, you know, what it wants, and you just have to feed it. You know, you got to give it what it needs. And I think like just listening and not paying attention to a lot of other noise, because it's going to be that, and ideas and this and that of like, oh, it should be this, and you just got to really lock in on the story you're telling and be as truthful as you can.